what it means to know your numbers today on the Daily Ish Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Daily Ish Show. Not just a show for rental housing providers. No, it's a show for anybody looking to get more white space on your calendar, have control of your calendar, and have control of your time. Welcome to the Daily Ish Show. My name is Mark Dolfini, your host and your coach for today, or for at least for the next 11 or so minutes. It's good to see you. I know I haven't been on, and it's been it's been a week, so much for a Daily Ish Show, right? But I had a lot of operational stuff that I was tied into. It's just summer's just always busy. Summer is just a busy time for us. And I got drawn into some stuff out in the field and some other stuff I had to get taken care of. So anyway, all right. Sorry. So you put more coins in the machine and out spits another show. Okay. Well, that's all I have. But thank you, by the way, for your messages. I know you guys were missing me. I was fine. But we're all good. We're all good in the Dolfini household. So today's topic is going to be knowing your numbers, and it's going to be different. And also, I'm trying a slightly different setup for my mic. So if hopefully you guys can hear me better. I tried messing around with the settings, and I don't know. That's why I need to put a software or a sound engineer in the budget. So I'll put that in the budget for next year. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about knowing your numbers. And it's not just the financial stuff, although we're going to start with the financial stuff, but knowing your numbers is incredibly important. And it's really, for those of you who know, I talk about the VIP method, the vision infrastructure process method that I wrote about in the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0. But there are also 4 critical functions to every business, which is the lead generation piece, the sales piece, the operational function, and of course, the accounting function. You might think, well, the accounting function is the one that has the numbers piece, right? Yes, that is definitely a numbers function, right, where you have the accounting piece, but that's not the only function where the numbers are important. And actually, all of those numbers are important, and we'll go through that really quickly. So, like we talk about the lead generation, like the marketing function. So the lead generation is if you're putting outbound marketing in place, okay, so you're doing some sort of interruption marketing or whatever marketing piece that you have, it needs to be generating some number of leads. So for whatever piece of advertising or whatever, maybe you're stopping and doing cold calls or whatever it is, how many leads is that actually generating for you based on that piece of marketing, right? That needs to be measured, because if you're doing something that is not getting you the results that you want, does it make sense to keep doing that same effort? Well, maybe there's ancillary benefits for doing that, but if there really is the purpose of generating leads, then obviously the answer would be no. So that's why it's really, really important for you to start and track your metrics on all 4 of these different areas. Just as for example, say the leads come in from the lead generation piece, but the sales piece is not able to close any of those leads. Well, maybe those leads are not really qualified. Maybe they're not having the right conversation. It's not the right people that are being brought into the conversation for the sales team. And therefore the sales team is really kind of being set up to fail. So it's really important to say, okay, well, based on the number of leads coming in, this is the number of people that are being closed. Maybe something's amiss. This is why it's important to start tracking that stuff. So you're not only tracking what's going on in the lead generation piece, but then you're also tracking in the sales piece. How many conversions are there from lead to sale, right? That would be a metric. That would be a number that you would want to know. Look at the operational function. Now, it could be anything from, because this is a real estate focused show, not solely focused, but there's other focuses here. But let's just stay on the real estate bend for a minute. If you have a rental business, how many days on market do you have, days vacancy do you have for your vacants? Because every day that goes by is a day's worth of inventory that you are never getting back. How many days do people typically spend in the operational cycle, right? That might be something that would be important to know. If you're in a roofing business, I often go back to the roofers just because I kind of know that business a little bit. But how long does that take for the operational function to be in? Like how long are they generally in the operational function from the time the guys show up to the to the house to the time the last nail is driven and all the stuff is cleaned up and everybody's driving away, right? So how long does that take? That might be measured in hours and not days. So if your normal throughput is, say, 18 hours, that could be the metric that you measure, because you want to be able to get in and get out. And it could be measured by how many reviews, 5-star reviews you get, right? Based on the operational function or whatever. So these are all important metrics that you need to track. So again, we're talking about lead generation, we're talking about sales, we're talking about the operational function, and the last function, of course, is the accounting function. And that's the easy one, right? Everyone's like, oh, I got to know your numbers. And the numbers, I'm not a numbers person. This is simple. We're not talking like making big numbers out of little numbers and little numbers out of big numbers. We're talking basic math. And this is something that even if you're not good at it, it's really easy to get people into that sphere where it doesn't need to be a CPA. It could be somebody who's a virtual assistant that can handle that stuff for you. Just even basic bookkeeping, saying, hey, what's my cash position? Is my cash position going up generally over month, or is it going down? What's my liquidity? Meaning your cash, your current assets would be like cash, and your quick assets divided by your liabilities, right? Your short-term liabilities, something along those lines. But you don't even have to get super crazy about that. You just need to be able to track the metrics that are relevant, especially if you're a growing company. If you're a growing company, you've got bigger problems than just it's like, okay, I've got more business than I can handle. That's great. But you're probably having a cash growth problem. You're probably always low on cash. It's because you need cash to grow those operations. You need to, buy more inventory. You need to purchase. I mean, there's just different reasons. There's plenty of different reasons as to why cash is, even though you're maybe making more money, you're like, why am I always broke? It's because it takes cash to grow the business. Seems counterintuitive, and it took me a while to figure that out, but that's why I was growing broke back in 2006 and 2007, and I didn't recognize it because I had basically expanded from 30 units to over 90 units in damn near 18 months. That's why I was growing broke. I didn't recognize it. So these are the sorts of metrics that are really important to track, but that's not the only metrics that matter. Let's look at some other metrics that would really matter in terms of what are we doing this all for? Okay, well, let's look at your vision. If the purpose of your vision, obviously you want to have, maybe a business that is generating lots of money that doesn't require all of your effort. So how many hours per week are you actually working? And I mean, like, where you're showing up, you're working, and then you're disengaged from work, not thinking about it while you're sitting at the baseball game, or, ruminating about it when you're pretending to watch a movie with your family, but when you're truly working. How many hours are you doing? I'm talking about when you can be completely engaged in your work. How many hours? Versus, let's look at how many days are you able to have lunch with your family or have dinner with your family? Why don't you track those metrics? That's that's really what many people are saying they're doing this all for. They're doing it all for their family. Well, if that's the case, then when's the last time you've been to the doctor? When's the last time you've been to the dentist? When's the last time you've been to the chiropractor or had a massage? Why don't you track those metrics? Why don't you track what's your blood pressure? What's your heart rate? What's your cholesterol? All of those metrics, these are all numbers that you need to know. For those of you who are more on a spiritual bent, how many times have you made it to church this month? How many do you pray in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening? How many times have you prayed? These are the sorts of metrics that you can actually manage and say, you know what? I really need to look at my life and say, wow, these are the metrics. Yeah, I'm hitting all my numbers. This is why it's important for you to know your numbers. Now, do I check the box just as a sake for checking the box on some of this stuff? No, I don't. But I do make sure that I'm making it part of a habit. So I'm making sure that my vision is being delivered by this vessel that I have built. This vessel is the business that delivers the cash flow that enables me to live the way that I want. So that's why it's important for you to know your numbers. And you track those numbers and you help. If you're not a numbers person, that's okay. Get someone that can help you do that. And if you need help, just drop me a line. I'm happy to have that conversation with you and help you out. You can hit me up at mark@landlordcoach.com, or just go on to the Landlord Coach page and you can hit me at landlordcoach.com/connect, and I'm happy to help you out. Well, that is all I have for today, folks. I'm going to head on out, and please be sure to place a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. Okay? Have a great day. Take care.